In my last video, I got the platinum for the first Dragon Ball Xenoverse game, and in this video, I'm going to set out to platinum the second installment in the Xenoverse universe, Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2. The game starts the same as Xenoverse 1 with having to create a character. At this point, it doesn't matter what race I choose, but later on I'm going to have to come back and make a character for all 5 of the races for a trophy. After skipping through a couple of cutscenes, we arrive at the new hub of the world, which is a whole lot bigger than the first game. When I'm able to start moving my characters, I go talk to a couple of people around the city in order to find where Elder Kai went, and after finding him in front of the time nest, I'm able to begin the story mode. Just like any other Dragon Ball game, the story begins with the very start of the Dragon Ball story, the Saiyan Saga. Because apparently OG Dragon Ball does not exist in any of the Dragon Ball games, except for a couple of them. Once Raditz is defeated, we get our very first trophy of this video. After a little bit of dialogue, we get another trophy for using a vehicle for the first time. This vehicle is used to get around the map a lot because of how big it is, but later on we won't be needing the vehicle at all. For the next few battles, I steamroll through the Saiyan Saga fighting Nappa, Vegeta, and Turles. After finishing the last fight in the Saiyan Saga, we get ourselves the trophy for finishing the Saiyan Saga. Before I move on to the Namek Saga, we are forced to go visit all the time rifts. There are 5 in total, first starting with Capsule Corp, Majin Buu's house, Hercule's house, Guru's house, and finally Frieza's ship. There's not really much to do at all these yet, but later on I'm going to have to come back to each of these time rifts and finish a bunch of quests. Anyways, back to the story mode. The next few trophy missions are pretty simple. They're bar to bar the same as the very first Xenoverse game, but I get trophies for defeating Zarbon and Dodoria's fights, Ginyu Force, Frieza, and next the Cell Saga, as well as the future Gohan Saga. After completing these story missions, Supreme Kai of Time blocks off the story mode and forces me to do the new mission that was introduced in Xenoverse 2 called Expert Missions, which is just pretty much a fancy word for offline raids. However, doing this first mission, which acts as a tutorial, gives me 2 trophies. In some of these expert missions, the enemy has an ability which mind controls a group of people, and there are 2 ways of escaping this mind control. The first is by defeating an enemy version of yourself, which then breaks you out of the mind control, or the second way is by going out to a mind control ally and breaking them out, which ends up giving you a trophy. Towards the end of the battle, the boss will throw a giant key ball towards the ground, and if it hits, the match will be over. I get another trophy by, instead of letting the key ball hit the ground, I'm able to throw it back to the boss, defeating him and getting me another trophy. The next part of the story is the Majin Buu Saga. After a couple of missions, Elder Kai blocks off the story again and forces me to go get 15 TB medals. These can be obtained by doing parallel quests or expert missions, and after getting 15 of them, I'm able to go back to the story, finishing off the Buu Saga, giving me a trophy. The next couple of stories are pretty much easy and straightforward, and I get these trophies just by completing the Battle of God Saga, Resurrection F Saga, and the very last story where I have to fight Mira and Toa, which are the main villains of this game instead of Demigra. After fighting and defeating Mira, who absorbs Toa and tries to become a Super Saiyan 5, I get the second to last story related trophy. In order to get the last story trophy, I need to get 5 time eggs, which are similar to the time shards from the first game. However, they are more complicated to get. To get the time eggs, I have to go back to the time rifts from earlier and do all the missions for each of the time rifts. The first egg I get is after completing all the Great Saiyaman missions in Hercule's place, and by completing all 6 battles, I get an egg as well as a trophy. The second egg is at Capsule Corp, and I get this by completing all of Vegeta's battles. After beating 3 of his missions, it gives me an egg. However, if I complete the 4th one, it gives me the ability to go Super Saiyan, as well as a trophy. For the 3rd time egg, I go and do all the Namek missions. There are 20 of these in total, which really sucks, but they're kind of easy, and that's just going around the map collecting Dragon Balls. After doing 5 of these missions, I'm able to talk to Guru and get my attributes boosted above level 100. Because it takes a while for Guru to get done, I decided to finish the rest while I wait for Guru to contact me. For the 3rd time egg, I need to finish Majin Buu's house. To get the egg from Majin Buu's house, I have to help Majin Buu get 4 different mini Buus, which is just easily done by feeding Majin Buu a certain amount of times. It may cost a little bit of zenny, but it's not that bad. After Buu gets 1 kid, I'm able to get a trophy, and after he gets 6, I get another egg. The next and last egg I get is by doing the Frieza ship. This is by far the longest next to the Guru one because what I have to do is complete the timer to get the egg, and there are a lot of missions. I'll go more in depth about this timer later on. After completing the missions, I get the egg as well as the trophy. After some more time, I complete all the Guru missions, giving me the last egg as well as another trophy for getting my Shenron wishes boosted. While doing all the grinds for the time egg, somewhere in between all these, I was able to get 2 trophies for upgrading my advancement class, which is done by talking to the robot in front of the high school next to Elder Kai. To finish off the story, I went back to the time nest with all 5 of the eggs, and I get sent into a mission where I fight Mira as Bardock and see Bardock go Super Saiyan 3, and then the last mission as future Gohan fighting the androids. Once these 2 missions are done, the story is 100% completed. Now that all the story is completed, it's time to do the missile trophies and other cleanup as well. Starting with a few missile trophies, I get the trophy for creating a QQ Bang. To create a QQ Bang, I go to Capsule Corp and talk to the robot next to Bulma and select a couple pieces of clothing as well as a mixing capsule. Once all the pieces are selected, it creates a QQ Bang, which gives the trophy. Another trophy I get is at the Majin Buu Time Rift. If I give one of the mini Boos enough food, it gives me an option to guard or calm down. If I select guard, it will change the color of that Boo, and doing this results in a trophy. Another easy missable trophy is by visiting Kame House, which is at the lowest part of the map and talking to a robot. Then once I enter the house, the trophy will pop immediately. Next to the Kame House robot is another robot. If I talk to this robot, it will open a menu that allows me to teleport around the big map. There are a lot of these robots scattered around the map, but if you register all of them, it gives a trophy. The next 4 trophies I get are pretty close to each other. The first one is by completing 7 expert missions. Another for reaching level 80. And then another one for completing all expert missions. And this one could be a little bit difficult because of the expert mission called Extreme Malice. And in this fight, you and a couple CPU teammates have to fight not 1, not 2, but 6 different enemies that spam a bunch of supers and deal a lot of damage. This became a bit difficult, so I had to ask one of my buddies to help out, and finally completing it. And doing the last 2 extra missions gives the trophy. Somewhere in the middle of all this, I got another trophy for gaining half of all nicknames. By just opening the player menu, it will pop immediately. Now that I have all the extra missions done, I went and did the same thing, but with the parallel quests instead. First by completing 50% of all of them, and later on by completing 100% of all the parallel quests, excluding the DLC ones because they don't count for the trophy. With all the parallel quests done, I also get a trophy for visiting the schools. The next 2 trophies are located in front of the high school. The first one is by getting a super class advancement. This can be a bit difficult because what you have to do is talk to the robot in front of the Orange Star High School, and there are a set of 5 different missions you need to do, and in order to get the super class advancement, you have to get a Z rating on all of the missions before this one. After getting the Z rating for all the previous quests, the new quest will appear, and after completing it, the trophy will pop. The next trophy is by talking to Elder Kai in front of the high school, and to get this trophy, I have to complete all the tutorial challenges. This is just a quest that serves as a tutorial for the game, such as how to move, attack, and more. But later on in the challenges, it gives you a certain number of combos that you need to complete. It starts out by just doing normal mashing combos, but then later on it gets a little bit more difficult. And then the last few combos are a bit challenging to complete, but after some time and getting all the timing down, I'm able to complete the challenges, giving me the trophy. At this point, I'm getting to where most of the trophies aren't that easy to get, and I have to do a lot of grinding. The next trophy is for getting all 7 Dragon Balls and making a wish. Unlike the first game where I need to summon Shenron 7 times, I only need to summon him a total of 3 to 4 times in this game. And the only wish I need is to obtain usable characters. After doing the first wish, I get one of the characters I needed as well as a trophy. And then after hours of grinding for the Dragon Balls, I get another trophy for getting all the usable characters. I don't know how I haven't had this trophy late into this game, but I get another trophy for getting half of all the skills in the game. Before I get to the most grindiest trophy in the game, I did all the online trophies next. This is easier than the first game because the only online mode I have to play is Endless mode. The first one is where you play an online match for the first time. And then the next one is for winning 7 endless battles as well as winning online 7 times. Alright, so now I'm at the most grindiest trophy in this game there is, and that's for getting all the awoken skills for each character race. The first character I started out with, which is the Earthling. After creating a new character, I go through the intro again, but once I arrived at the main hub and talked to a couple people, before going to talk to Elder Kai, I go and talk to a person named Tosak. This guy made this trophy a lot easier because of what he does. And what he does is if you talk to him, he can raise your character level by 1 if you give him a certain amount of money. What I found is the best is to raise my character level by 40 because this allows me to do pretty much all the missions I need to obtain the awoken skills once I unlock the time rifts. After talking to Elder Kai and completing the Saiyan Saga, I unlock the time rifts. The time rift that I am needing to do, which is Hercule's house because I'm running an Earthling. Once I get there, I talk to the Great Saiyaman and do all of his missions once again. After doing all of his missions, I go and talk to Jocko, then Hercule, and then Great Saiyaman again. And then this time he gives me a quest, which is the reward for obtaining the awoken skill for Earthlings. The next race I went for is the Majin race. After making a character and leveling him up and completing the Saiyan Saga, I unlock Majin Buu's house, and then once I get there, I have to feed Majin Buu again until he has 3 kids. Once you give him 3 kids, he will give you a quest which gives you the awakening skill, which allows you to turn into Kid Buu. Next is the Namekian race. For this, what I need to do is go to Guru's house and complete a couple of his Dragon Ball missions again. After doing this a couple of times, instead of doing the other missions, Piccolo will spawn at Guru's house, and what you have to do is go talk to him, then talk to Nail, then talk to Dende. And then lastly, talking to Piccolo again will give you the quest for the awoken skill. This awoken skill sadly isn't to become Orange Piccolo, but instead it's one of the most useless transformations in the game, which is Become Giant. The last race I need is for the Frieza Saga. This is the longest grind for a transformation by far, but once I unlock the Frieza ship and go inside, I start doing some of the main quests I need. However, from a certain point on, if you mess up, you would have to create a new character in order to get this again. After doing a couple missions and helping Frieza turn golden, at this point he will ask you if you like working for him and if you will stay loyal to him from here on out. But to get the awoken skill, what you need to do is say that you don't like him at all and choose to rebel against him, giving you a quest where you fight Golden Frieza. After completing this, he makes you the leader of the Frieza Force, and this ends the quest line. Unless you go and talk to Cooler, which then after talking to Cooler, you go and talk to Frieza again, giving you one more quest which gives you the Turn Golden awoken skill. After completely destroying Frieza and Cooler in my new golden form, I finally finish all the characters and get this gold trophy I have been looking for. Alright, so now we're at the last stretch of this grind, and what I need for the next trophy is by completing all the mentor trainings. The good thing about this game that's different from the first one is that I don't need to fill up the bar next to the mentor in the player menu unlike the first game. What makes this a whole lot easier is to do all the training you need to be max advancement class, which I am. After making a person my mentor, I just talk to them again and ask to be trained, and doing this 4 times for each of the mentors, I get the trophy. The next trophy was a little bugged for me, but thankfully I was still able to get it, and this was the trophy for getting 50% of all equipment. When I was towards the end of this trophy, I had all the equipment in the shop, so I had to go to the TP Metal shop. But because it was bugged for me a bit, I got stuck at around 300 out of 306 equipment needed for the trophy. Even though if I look in the player menu, it says I have over 50%. But what I found out to fix this is by getting the Dragon Balls, because one of the wishes gives you 4 pieces of clothing you do not own. So after making a wish, I got the last few pieces as well as the trophy. These last 2 trophies really suck because it's all RNG based. And these trophies are for doing 10 challenges for Krillin and Yamcha. For Krillin's challenges, it's pretty straightforward and it's just the milk delivery challenges. All you have to do is take the milk cartons around the map, talking to certain people, giving them milk, and then taking it back to Krillin again, finishing the challenge. The thing about this trophy is that it's all RNG to spawn. What you have to do is complete parallel quests, and after you complete it, you have a chance for this pop-up to spawn. Once you get this pop-up, you go talk to Krillin or Yamcha, whoever you're using. You talk to Krillin in front of the accessory shop, and after completing 10 of his milk carton runs, you get the trophy. The next challenge is for Yamcha. A great thing I found out about this is if you make whoever mentor you're using, Krillin or Yamcha, in this case Yamcha. You make him your mentor, it raises the chance for the mission to spawn. After getting the pop-up for Yamcha, I fly over to where the Kame House robot is and talk to Yamcha. What Yamcha's challenge is to find turtle stones around the map. They're pretty easy to find around the map. There's just these glowing little balls scattered around the whole map, and there's a bunch of them. After getting the certain amount you need and going back to talk to Yamcha and doing this 10 different times, I get the trophy as well as the long-awaited platinum. If you guys enjoyed this video, please drop a like and subscribe. This platinum took me a lot of time and it would also really help out the channel. Anyways, that's all I got for this video. Maybe sometime I'll come back and do the 4 DLCs packs, but I really want to move on to the next game because it is going to be really fun. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye guys.